Good morning, dear ones. Happy early morning. I'm sorry for my cheeriness for those of you who are not morning people. Also, I could not make the live stream work inside the event. So I'm praying that you find me just fine. So if you do find me this morning, say hi. And if you're watching on the replay, we're so glad for that as well. I know this is super early, especially if you don't live on the East Coast. Good morning. I wanted to make a couple of announcements and then we're going to talk about designing your life and creating a vision for your life for 2024. So, today, I'll be giving you some prompts, and tomorrow we're going to use those prompts for you to create your vision statement, vision board, whatever you want to do for 2024. Good morning. Hi, Julia. Oh, I can't see the names of, oh, and I have to sneeze. Oh, goodness. Hi, good morning. Um, so I'm really excited about this. You're going to get some homework this morning, and then you're going to use that homework. We're going to meet back together tomorrow morning to really create a beautiful vision for you for 2024. A couple of announcements before we do that is I want to remind you that if you are in the Made for More workshop and you joined us with the $7 entry, you have another week or so to upgrade to get this journal. This, I'm calling it our dream journal. I'm actually using it for all of my beginning of the year, end of the year, beginning of the year dream journaling. I call it dream journaling when I'm just like writing down. You can use it for what we're talking about today, but it does have some of our worksheets in there that we use in Life Mentoring School that you can use for the Made for More workshop, like our life wheel, our true and false self worksheet, which is really awesome when you're planning, like, what do you want your truest, most powerful, most nurturing, most loving self to create in 2024? And then there's our extraordinary life hero's journey, and then our thought download, a bunch of journal prompts, and then mostly what this journal is just blank pages. So you can still get that, I think, until December, whatever next Friday is. Anyways, you can still upgrade, and there's a link inside the Facebook group for how to do that. So I wanted to remind you of that. I also quickly wanted to remind you that if you are not someone who considers yourself a dreamer or a journaler, I want you to question that, and I want you to just decide that you are. There are so many amazing health benefits, mental health benefits, emotional benefits, like physical health benefits to journaling. It gives you so much awareness of your own life and so much agency over what you actually create in your life. And I did a reel on Instagram a few days ago where I just showed a bunch of my journals from the past 10 years. And the stuff I wrote in those journals at the time felt ridiculous. Like, okay, how are you going to do that, Miss Edie? And literally over the past 10 years, almost everything in that journal I have brought to life. And so we're going to dream this morning about what you can bring to life. So even if you tell yourself like I'm not a journaler, I'm not a dreamer, I just want you to pretend that you are for the next couple of days, and it will really open your heart and get you ready for all of the amazingness of the Made for More workshop. So, good morning everybody. I see you joining. I'm so glad you're here. Good morning. I hope you've had your coffee. I said yesterday on Instagram that I'm annoyingly energetic this time of the morning. It's my favorite time of day. Um, Although I was telling my daughter last night how much I love to go to bed, the only thing I love more than going to bed is getting up. I love the mornings. So hopefully you've had your coffee so I don't annoy you. The other thing that I love about this practice and what you will, I think, gain by just doing the exercises that we talk about today is it really helps you slow your life down. How many of you have a to-do list that's like 18 miles long right now? Listen, we mamas spend so much time and energy making magic for our families. And I want to teach you how to make magic for yourself too. And this is how I do that for myself. This is how I slow time down. This is how learn how to savor my days instead of just how can I get through my days? How can I get through this to do list? This is one of the ways that I do that. And I think that's what I love so much about it, is especially this time of year, because you could tell yourself, look, Missy, I don't have time for that right now. Raise your hand if you feel like I don't have time to spend an hour journaling about my future right now. I got stuff to bake and gifts to wrap and lists to write and all of that. I know, me too. But I use this as a way to intentionally slow me down and help me savor my time. So I want you to do this for yourself, because here's the other thing, you guys. So many of us don't dream, and we don't dream, and here's the phrase that we often say, I can't even imagine that. So many things that I wrote down in journals over the last 10 years, at the time I couldn't have imagined. I'm actually living a life now that I couldn't have imagined. And what that means is not that it's not possible. What it means is that you have a rusty imagination. You have not exercised your gift of imagining. And I want to help you do that today, because so much of the time I do this still, you guys. I feel like I'm so good at this in so many ways because I've just been doing it year after year. But even I looked at what I wrote down last year at this time, and several of the things I did not do yet. And it would be easy to say, oh, I always say I'm going to do that and then I don't. Raise your hand, say yes in the chat if you're one of those people who are like, yeah, I always say I'm going to do that and then I don't do that. I have a lot of evidence myself that I say I'm going to do things that I don't do. But what I just decide to do is I just decide to keep going and keep imagining and keep dreaming and keep saying, oh, this is going to be the year for sure. So, two very specific things. I'm going to share more of that detail with you tomorrow that I wrote down last year. I did not do in 2023. And I could not be more excited that this is the year. My imagination with what is possible for these things is just blown out of proportion. It's not even reasonable to think that I could do it or would do it. And I know I'm going to do it. And you couldn't convince me otherwise if you tried. Even though, really, honestly, for the last 2 years, I've had this one particular thing on my list for the last 2 years and I've not done it. So listen, if you say to yourself, like, yeah, okay, lady, but I've tried this before. I want you to know, me too. And I am just letting my crazy imagination run wild with what could be possible. Another way of looking at this is that you have been used to living from your past. You look at your past to see what could be possible for your future. And what I want you to learn how to do is learn how to create from your future, not from your past. And when I think of it this way, I'm like, it doesn't even matter that I had that on my list of things that I wanted to do for the past 2 years. I am living into my future and what's possible for me to create in my future from my future, not from my past. And so I'm going to share with you some of my favorite journal prompts today that are going to get your brain going in that direction. Now, if you haven't yet watched my how I created my best year yet in 2023, that's also in this group. I want you to go watch that later today too, because even though you could look at things that I wrote down a year ago and go, well, that year was kind of a failure because there was a couple of things that you didn't even do. No, I created my best year yet in 2023. And I 100% fully believe that 2024 is going to blow it out of the water. What if you believed that? What if you believed that the experience you could have in your life in the next year could just literally blow the last year out of the water? I totally believe that. And I'm living into that and I'm creating from that. So much so, you guys, this is how much this has inspired me to think about it this way over the past few weeks. How much time do we have left in 2023? I'm trying to think. 2 weeks? A little over 2 weeks? Because actually Made for More the actual Made for More workshop starts 2 weeks from yesterday. I'm already asking myself, like, what unreasonable, impossible things can I create before the end of the year? With it being Christmas, with me taking time off and spending amazing, joyful time with my family, baking and gift giving and laughing and just enjoying the season. What impossible things can I still create? That's what I'm asking myself before the end of the year, before Made for More, so that when I start 2024, it's like, man, like, dang, I'm halfway there. I'm already halfway there. So, when you open your mind up to things and you dare to write them down, your brain starts to secretly, silently go to work for you in the background. So, here's what I know when I wrote those things down last year that I didn't do yet, my brain has been working on it in the background. My brain didn't forget. Subconsciously, my brain has been like, oh, yeah, how are we going to create that? Let's see if we can start working on that. So what you write down, like I'm going to ask you, I have some journal prompts that I want you to work on before tomorrow. You have homework. I know it's the busiest time of the year, which is exactly why I love doing it this time of year. You're already in the mode of I got to get stuff done. I want you to get in the mode of I got to get stuff done toward my dream life. You're not going to create your dream life if you don't imagine it first and if you don't write some things down. So I want you to think about not only is what I'm writing down getting me ready for 2024, how is it going to radically change the way I spend the next 3 weeks? Instead of into this mindset, which I have sometimes done this time of year, of like it feels like a grind, like, oh, I have so much left to do. What if what we're doing today so drastically changes your heart and mind and gets you in this imagining, dreaming state that the way you experience your next 3 weeks is just off the charts? This is what I'm expecting for my next 2 or 3 weeks, and I could not be more open to it. Like, I wanna open your heart to that what if that were possible for you, and I know it is. So, the first question that I have for you, the first journal prompt, write these down. I don't want you to answer them right now necessarily because we would be here for a good while, and I do have to get Tom ready for school and get to the gym today, but I want you to spend whatever time you have, 30 minutes, an hour, in the next 24 hours, answering these questions. Tomorrow, we're going to use them to create our vision for 2024. Number one, what dreams have you let die that you thought were impossible for you? And I want you to speak them aloud again. Now, I have very specific example I'm going to share with you tomorrow of this. What dreams have you let die? Maybe you know already and you could share with us in the chat. If you know already, just say it. Just I dare you. Have the courage to say it. What dreams have you let die that you thought, it's probably impossible. I'm too old. I don't have what it takes. I don't have the resources. It's not the right time. You have a million reasons for not doing it. So do I. But what dreams have you let die that you sort of checked off as that's impossible? I probably couldn't do that. Share with me in the chat. I hope they're unreasonable. I hope you can't even imagine it happening. I hope so. Because what you are going to prove to yourself over the next 3 weeks, week, day, month, year is that you're closer than you've ever been. What if you're closer than you've ever been? Just by saying it, just by imagining it again. So write it down. Tell us. Journal on it. I want you to spend some time journaling on this. I want you to remind yourself what your dreams are. Number 2 is related to this. What one area of your life do you know you want to be more intentional with in the next week, in the next month, in the next year? What one area of your life you feel like, oh, I've kind of let that go. And I want to be more intentional with that. I want to start creating magic in my life in this area. Maybe it's health, maybe it's finances, maybe it's your business, maybe it's starting something that you told yourself a long time ago you wanted to start, but you haven't yet. Number 3, what does your ideal day look like? What does your most powerful, nurturing, loving self, that truest version of you that is so full of life, what does her ideal day look like? I want you to spend some time journaling. What is her morning? What time does she wake up? Where does she wake up? What kind of bed does she sleep in? What does her morning routine look like? What does she spend her day doing? Who does she spend it with? What is she reading? What activities is she doing? How is she contributing her gifts? What kind of impact is she making in the world? What kind of impact is she making in her own life, in her own family? How does she spend her evenings? I want a full day, an ideal day that your truest, most powerful, most nurturing, most loving, most purposeful self, what does her day look like? Next question. I don't even know what number we're on. What number are we on? Maybe somebody would be so kind as to write these down in the chat. If you could sum up in one sentence what you want your life to be about, what you want your next year to be about, if you could sum that up in one sentence, if it had a theme, what would it be? Okay, that's number 4. Thank you. In other words, if your life had a story, what story are you telling in the next year? Number 5, how can you add more meaning and purpose and joy to your days right now? More meaning, more purpose, more joy right now. And as a prompt for that, I want you to write down 10 simple joys that are free and available to you anytime that you want more of in your life. So, to get us started on this one, just write some of yours in the chat. 10 simple joys that are free, available to you anytime, that you know you want and need more of in your life. I think this will help you figure out, how do I add more meaning, more joy, more purpose to my day right now? Number 6, I want you to commit yourself to creating your life from your future, not your past, to opening up your heart and imagination to what is possible for you. And what would it look like if you did? What would it look like if you committed to creating your life from your future instead of your past? Instead of looking to your past to see what's possible, you just dream. You just look to your future. You let your future self tell you what was possible for her. What would it look like to do that? Are you committed to creating your life from your future? I really do believe that this is our time, that this year can blow 2023 out of the water. And you guys, that's a tall task because 2023 was something else. If you haven't watched my video, go watch it. I think after you watch my video and you do some journaling for this in your own life, you'll say, that was something else. Like the learning, the experiences that I had, even though maybe I didn't realize that at the time, the looking back on it has been so full of meaning. And are you really committed to creating something even more profound, even more full and beautiful in the next month, in the next year, today? So I want you to use this sort of as a springboard, and I want you to see what happens for you before we even get to the workshop because you're doing this. I want this to burst your heart wide open for what is possible for you. And I want you to start seeing the fruit of it now, today, in the next week, before we even start. Because if you do that, this workshop could literally change everything for you in your life. And we saw it happen last year. Like when I look back at the testimonials from the Made for More workshop, it's just insane. How what was shared, how the community itself just gave people a true fresh start and helped them create things in the last year that they can't even explain. I want you to create things in your life in the next week, month, day, year that are unexplainable to you. Okay. I hope you're excited about your journaling today. Say yes in the chat if you're excited. Say yes in the chat if you're committed to doing this exercise. I want you to show up tomorrow because we are going to use these prompts to create our vision for 2024. Now, you can create a written vision, which is what I do. You can create a vision board. You can go on Pinterest and put this vision into like literal pictures and create a vision board. But at the very least, do this journaling today, answer these prompts today, spend some time with it today. And we are going to be giving away some planners. I don't have mine yet, but I should have mine today. So I'll show it to you in the morning. We're going to be giving away some planners. We're going to put a homework in there so that you can share your journal prompts. And we're going to give away some planners for those of you who participate. So I can't wait to see how you're journaling on these questions in the next 24 hours. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 6:45 a.m. Don't worry, you can watch the replay if you're not a morning person. Julia, the planners right now are only for LMS. It's possible that we did order a bunch this time, so it's possible if we have some left over at the first of the year that we might do like a little flash sale, but right now they're just for people that are in my program. But we are going to give a few away in here, so just make sure and put those journal prompts in the space, not under this video, but we will post a we'll post the prompts. We'll post a picture of our 2024 Q1 journal or planner. And then that's where you'll add your homework today. All right, you guys, I love you so much. Have a great day. I cannot wait to see how you dream and imagine what's possible for you. Okay, see you soon. Bye.